Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. The last couple of days we have gotten so much Star Wars news in terms of movies and series, and I know a lot of us have been asking, what about the video games? And I've actually found a little bit of news regarding that has kind of been left in the background as it hasn't been any big news, but still some stuff that confirms they're working on some more Star Wars games for us, as well as a couple of references to Battlefront 2, both the original and the new one that I wanted to bring up, but I also wanted to give you like a short recap of all the announcements as well as what I think about them, as a lot of you have asked that. So let's dive straight into it. But before we get into all the news, I just wanted to give a shout out yet again to my sponsor Elgato Gaming. And if you're interested in checking out any of the stuff I use for my videos or live streams, such as microphones, stream decks, green screens, key lights, or anything like that, feel free to follow that link in the description below, and you will also be able to read more about which specific products I use. But now, let's get straight into it. So let's start off with a short recap of all the different series and movies they have announced and what I think about them, and then move on to the Star Wars gaming news after that. So first of all, we have Rogue Squadron, a movie coming out in December 2023, directed by Patty Jenkins, who made Wonder Woman. And if you don't know, Rogue Squadron was obviously the band of X-Wings formed by Luke Skywalker after the Battle of Yavin with people like Wedge and Antilles. They were also in the Battle of Hoth as well. And in Legends, there was a lot more story around Rogue Squadron, so it's a little bit unclear here when it will take place and which characters we will see in it, because Luke, again, formed Rogue Squadron, but I doubt he's gonna be in this movie. And I know this is a lot of good news for people who like flying, because Squadrons just came out and now they announced Rogue Squadron as well. And I'm more excited for this because I don't have anything against flying in movies. Like, it's really like flying is a huge part of Star Wars, but I'm not a huge fan of flying personally in games. That's why Squadrons was great for flying, but maybe not the perfect game for me. And then we have the Ahsoka series, which has been rumored for a very long time. And after we saw Rosario Dawson in The Mandalorian, I think most of us expected to see her own series, and that has now been confirmed. It will be during the same timeline as The Mandalorian, so I'd imagine the main villain will probably be Thrawn, and we will follow Ahsoka's journey to find him. And that also makes me think that Ahsoka and Thrawn will probably not show up more in The Mandalorian, at least not as main characters, but maybe just a little appearance. And then we have Rangers of the New Republic, also a new series set during the same timeline as The Mandalorian, and we're not sure about the characters, but it could be someone like Captain Carson Teva, who we saw in the second episode of Season 2 of Mandalorian. And it wouldn't surprise me if Thrawn might be showing up in this series as well. Again, Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian are all during the same timeline, so there could definitely be some tie-ins in between them. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are creators of both the Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, as well as, of course, Mandalorian, which means that they're all probably going to be tied in very nicely. Next up, we have another series, The Acolyte, created by Leslie Headland, which will take place at the end of the High Republic era, which is roughly 200 years before Episode 1. And they've said that it's going to be a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. So this is kind of like a series that I'm both least excited and most excited about at the same time, because I really don't know what it's going to be about. And since it's 200 years prior to Episode 1, I don't think we're going to recognize anything. I mean, the only character I can think of that might be alive is Yoda, and that's still a pretty long shot if he's even going to be in there. But the fact that they say dark side powers makes me really hopeful that maybe we'll see some Sith. Like, I don't really know which Sith were alive at that time. Actually, in canon, I think the only one we know about prior to Darth Sidious was obviously his master Plagueis, and then Darth Bane, which was way before that. So even in Legends, I actually looked up, it's a bit unclear which Sith that was alive during that time, but I'd love to see some Sith in there nevertheless, and maybe the Rule of Two being talked a little bit about as well. So yeah, I hope that's what I mean with dark side powers, and it's not just going to be a political thing, but we'll see. Again, we don't know a lot about that series. And then we have the Lando series created by Justin Simien, and it's unclear which timeline this is going to be in, and if it's going to be Donald Glover or Billy D. Williams Lando that we will be seeing, unless it's both of them with like flashbacks. My bet is for Donald Glover though. I'm not sure if Billy D. Williams is up for like a full series, but we'll see. Nothing confirmed about that yet. And then we of course have some big news in regards to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It will be filming in 2021, released in 2022, and it's going to take place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And Hayden Christensen will be returning to play Darth Vader. So that's the big news that came out the other day. And I'm very excited to see that. Hope it's going to have maybe some flashbacks as well, so we actually get to see Hayden and not just in the Vader suit. It's going to be a 6-episode limited series, like a chronicle of Obi-Wan's time in exile on Tatooine. So it's not going to be like season after season, just 6 episodes. But still, I am so excited for that. And then we have the Cassian Andor series, now officially titled Andor, a prequel to Rogue One, and they showed a little bit of concept art with Andor in action, as well as like a sizzle reel. It will also be released in 2022 and is described as a nail-biting spy thriller. Moving on, we have the Bad Batch series, which also got a sizzle reel set after the Clone Wars, and they will be taking on some mercenary missions as they attempt to find a new purpose. And there was actually some interesting stuff spotted in this trailer, such as some Battlefront 2 OG armor from the clone Jet Trooper. Maybe we'll see them in the actual series, and I'm always very glad when we get to see these references to old or newer games for that matter. Then of course we have Mandalorian Season 3 confirmed for Christmas Day 2021, so that's going to be a pretty good Christmas, I'm sure, but we don't have a lot of details other than that. And then we have Taika Waititi's movie. He's the creator of Thor Ragnarok and also working on Love and Thunder now, and I'm very excited for this movie just because of the fact that I loved Thor Ragnarok and the style of that movie, and I guess Love and Thunder will also give us an idea of how good it's gonna be. But again, we really have no idea what kind of movie it's gonna be, and it's most likely gonna be released 2025 because they have slotted out the movies for 2023 and then 2025. And since Rogue Squadron is being released 23, it's probably gonna be Taika's movie 25. It's really a shame that we have to wait this long to get any Star Wars movies, but we do have a lot of series to keep us entertained while we wait for the movies, so I think that's good. And then we have a droid story and adventure series on Disney Plus, where a new droid hero will be guided by C-3PO and R2-D2. And lastly, Star Wars Visions, which is a series of animated short films in anime style in celebration of Star Wars, which will be created by various Japanese animation studios. So with all of this content being announced for the next couple of years, a question a lot of us have asked is, what about video games? Because the only confirmed Star Wars video game right now is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga coming out next year. And with Battlefront 2 support ending, and then Squadrons probably getting its last update, or at least big content update this week, there's not a lot to look forward to in terms of Star Wars gaming. But Matt Martin, who works for Lucasfilm, actually said the following out on Twitter after all of these announcements. It's crazy to think that even after all those Star Wars Disney Investor Day announcements, that's only a fraction of the overall Star Wars storytelling going on. We've got video games, publishing, VR, Disney parks, and more, with the High Republic beginning next month. So he does confirm that they were working on video games, which means at least multiple video games. And this was something that people reacted to, responding with video games, at which point he responded with strap in body, making it seem like they do indeed have some plan for video games, although it's very vague. And it would also make sense that they would announce those video games on more of a gaming related situations, such as like EA Play or Gamescom or something like that next year. But I think that is good news, because I think he has to be very careful with what he says. So if he says video games, that means they are working on video games, not just LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And I think on top of that, it is very, very, very likely that they are working on Fallen Order 2. That was something that was rumored actually by the time Fallen Order 1 came out from some pretty reliable sources. So I think we can at least expect Fallen Order 2 and hopefully even more video games, because looking at how much they are putting out the next couple of years, there is no reason to why they couldn't do the same with games, because I really think that's something they gotta capitalize more on. They have done so the last few years with Fallen Order, Squadrons, and Battlefront 2's revival, but before that, they didn't make use of the Star Wars license at all. So I'm really hoping we're in for some good Star Wars gaming news soon as well, as the opportunities are just endless. And in some other quick news, I guess you could say, I hope you all have watched the last episode of Mandalorian. I'm not gonna spoil it here, just a very minor spoiler for it. Otherwise, the fact that they had a very nice Battlefront 2 reference talking about Operation Cinder in it, I think I'm always happy again to see any type of reference to Battlefront 2 or Battlefront 2 the original for that matter, like with the Bad Batch. So I thought that was pretty neat. And lastly, in case you missed it, yesterday we had the big December update for Star Wars Squadrons, adding the B-Wing and TIE Defender as playable ship, something a lot of people have been asking for a very long time. I haven't covered the Squadrons patch notes and similar too much in detail, simply because I noticed that not a lot of you on my channel are interested in Squadrons, which is why I focus more a little bit on the overall picture with Star Wars games, as well as of course everything they just announced. But if you somehow missed it, make sure to hop on Squadrons and try out the new update with the B-Wing and TIE Defender, as I think they've done those ships very good justice with this update. But that is all for today. A lot of things in this video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below in regards to, well, anything. Star Wars games, the movies, the series, Squadrons. Make sure to drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Wars and Star Wars gaming discussion and news. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.